Crochet Along does not work like any other crochet along that you may have participated in before. I like to do things a little differently. So how I'm going to do this one is every part, there are 8 parts, and if you want to, you could make the blanket, which is, there's 2 versions, same, different yarn is the only variation and how I laid out the squares, but you've got 2 versions to the blanket, so you can choose. How I'm going to operate this. So normally with a crochet along, they'll release the parts over, every couple of weeks, every month, every week, depending on the project, who's running it. I'm going to release each part 1 day at a time over 8 days. You have 2 ways that you can approach this. If you just know straight off that you just want to make this blanket, that's all you want to do, then by all means, you've got all the parts being released to you as you go, so you can just make the parts. If you want to discover more of the joy, play around, make something that is unique to you, but brings you joy as you make it, then I'm going to encourage you to do this. So there are 2 workbooks. One that will help you just note down everything you need for this crochet along. The other one is to help you find your joy in crochet. What I would invite you to do for each of the days is to explore. So the first 6 days are going to be the squares that get released. Day 7 will be the join, and day 8 will be the border. Now, one reason a lot of people do not finish crochet alongs, I am one of them. I have purchased kits for 2 and still not finished them. One of them I started in 2020. One of the reasons we don't commit is that we may not be enjoying it as much as we thought we would, and I'm totally okay with that if that is you. So this is what I want you to do when you're exploring. For each day, you can either play with the yarn, play with your stitches, just explore. You can make the squares smaller, and I'll explain how you can do that each day as well, and it'll be in the pattern and in the videos. So you can explore. If you already know what yarn you really want to use, then you can just play with the squares with the yarn and see if there are any squares as they're released that you did not enjoy making. If you did not enjoy making it, then I would encourage you to leave it out of the blanket, because the last thing you want to do is to have to make 5 squares of something that you're not liking. Okay? You could find that you love one of the squares and only one of the squares, and you can make that for all 30 of them, or however many you decide. You can make them smaller, make more, you can make them bigger, make less, but you could stick with that 1 square or 2 squares, whatever it is that you prefer. Okay, so this first week, what I would encourage if you want to explore is each day test out the square and see if you like the yarn that you're playing with and enjoy making the square, because each square has different stitches, a different way of putting it together. Some are going to make you happier than others. Okay, so I want you to create a blanket that you are going to love, and it doesn't need to look like mine. In fact, I encourage you to make it look like your own. Okay, if you do want to create with the same yarn that I have used, then this one is a bobble box. So the bobble box, I've designed this bobble box, so it's through Ballet yarns and it's in my Clubhouse colors. So you'll see it all through the workbook, all over the website. These are the colors that I use. I had it made into a custom yarn. You could use any bobble box. So the bobble boxes, as long as they've got 10, they're at least a 4-ply and 50-gram balls. You will have enough. You will then need a 200-gram ball or whatever it needs to take in a solo Lola to get to for the join and the border. And you can mix and match with that as well if you want to get some other colors in. So I'll give you a bit of a peek as to how that is. Now it looks complicated. I promise it isn't. And I also promise that I have full video tutorials, so I encourage you to not be turned off if you think it's too difficult for you. It's not as difficult as you think. Now this version I made with a 4-ply yarn as a cotton. It's nice and heavy. Fiddlesticks Wren. So I used 5 different colors, and if you If you go to the Bella May Yarns website and look at the JOYCAL on there, just search JOYCAL, but it's on the front page. Click through and the quantities and the colors that I've used are on there. I've used, how many did I use? I used 5 colors. I had 3 balls of each for the squares, and then I had 10 balls of the white. You might get away with 9, but 10 will be comfortable. Okay, so you can go with that. So if you've got any, and they're 50-gram balls, so you can go with any 4-ply yarn and work it that way yourself. But what I encourage is for you to use this as an exploration, decide what it is that brings you the most joy when you're crocheting, so that the blanket you make is one that you love. Now this is one I love. That doesn't mean that it's one that you love. Okay, so I want to make it unique to you, and most of all I want you to have fun. So